Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss political strategy generally, but specifically focusing on a Tory attack ad which they promoted recently, which seems to have backfired a little. Apart from anything else, it shows that the Tories simply aren't aware of either who their target voters are or what appeals to those voters. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So I was recording a Sunday roast with Max, Alex and Jenny yesterday, and Alex asked us at the end for our themes of the year. I suggested that the theme was political parties finding the wheels coming off, starting to pull in different directions. You know, we're seeing it of the SNP, we're seeing it especially of the Tories this year. We saw Labour doing it 15 years ago. It just seems to be the way political parties seem to respond, and it does them no good at all. But I'll talk more about that specific theme in the stream this evening. But there could have been another theme of 2023, the attack ad. Labour tried its hand ahead of the local elections. And I said at the time, I thought their first two were a little bit dodgy, but the others were fine. However, I also had to concede that they worked. Labour adopted a tactic, the morals of which can be debated, but it was politically successful. Now, the Tories are no stranger to attack ads. This is not like Labour got the ball rolling. In fact, Labour's ads were newsworthy because it's not usually the sort of thing Labour does. But the Tories have attracted a bit of controversy over a recent attack ad of their own. It features a BBC presenter who was playing silly buggers with a countdown. The final one sort of seemed to get broadcast, making it look like she was insulting someone, maybe the cameraman, maybe the producer, maybe the audience. The image went viral, of course, and the Tories seized upon it. They used it in a social media post saying, Labour when you ask for their plans to tackle illegal immigration. Now, Labour presented those plans a year and a half ago, but that's not the point. The ad attracted a bit of a reaction. Lots of people said it was a bit beyond the pale. Not really what we expect. Now, I'll be honest, party politics aside, I thought it was funny. What I was not happy about was the fact that the ad was lying, not that it used this image. But I am not target voters. Some research was done on the impact of the ad, and it's not really good for the Tories. So first of all, in terms of the general population, 68% thought that the ad was inappropriate to just 10% thinking it was fine. Now, general opinion doesn't really matter at all when it comes to electoral strategy in a first-past-the-post system, because actually if that 10% that it worked on are your target voters, all works out. But that's still a hell of a gap, and not in a good way for the Tories. But you would need to know how individual groups reacted to it. So analysis from the director of the pollster noted that the group most closely associated with red wall voters who switched Conservative in 2019 found it more inappropriate than average. So if the Tories were trying to appeal to these red wall voters, this ad backfired on them spectacularly. So then analysis on how it made voters feel about the Conservative Party who presented the ad and Labour about whom the ad was commenting. So 11% said it made them think more favourably towards the Conservatives, but 44% said it made them feel less favourably towards the Conservatives. So again, that's not a great breakdown. And when it came to voters who switched to the Conservatives in 2019, or those who switch into Labour now, they saw it as making them think less well of the Tories. So again, backfires. It worked best on voters switching from Conservative to Reform UK. Now, that is a key Tory target. They are, I think, amplifying the importance of those voters, but they are important voters. But even then, more people still said it made them think less favourably than more favourably. So at this point, the ad is looking like a spectacularly bad idea. It has pushed more target voters away from them than pulled towards them. PR disaster in the making. But has it at least put voters off Labour? Because that would sort of work for them. The Tories don't mind a bit of persuading voters not to vote for anyone if they're not going to vote Tory anyway. Voter apathy, one of their key weapons, really. And on the face of it, it might have done the Tories some good here. So the headline results are looking a bit better for the Tories because it shows that 18% felt that the ad made them think less favourably towards Labour, with only 16% saying more favourably towards Labour. So that's like a net plus 2% viewing Labour less favourably. So it worked well on those red wall switches to the Conservatives in 2019. However, in terms of those switching now, it worked badly on those switching from the Conservatives to Labour. And it worked well on those switching from the Conservatives to Reform UK. But if the ad is appealing to those who weren't going to vote Labour anyway, but are choosing between the Tories and Reform, then even on this score it has failed. Which made me reflect on another feature of Tory strategy. I've not really thought about this too much before. So they're attacking Labour. Of course they are. Labour are their main rivals. Penny Mordaunt went to some lengths to attack the SNP in a Christmas-themed rant in Parliament this week as well. Again, the SNP are rivals in some key seats for the general election. So all of this makes sense. Where are their attacks on Reform UK? Am I just missing them? I mean, Tory MPs are absolutely petrified about losing votes to Reform. That's what we're told consistently across various different media, that Tory MPs are frightened rigid of Reform UK, scared stiff of Nigel Farage. You know, to read reports, you would think that Tory MPs are identifying Reform UK as their biggest rival for votes. Their platform policies are certainly intended to appeal to those Tory to Reform voters. I can't think of too many policy announcements that are really designed to appeal to those flipping to Labour or the Lib Dems. So why do you never see the Tory campaign machine attacking Reform UK or their proposals? How do they expect to win those votes back without undermining Reform UK's arguments? Because the massive advantage that Reform have is that the Tories are in government right now. When the Tories try to talk about what's needed to deal with immigration, for example, well, they're the party in government. They can do it. They've had years to do it. And yet they are the ones who created the massive asylum backlog. They are the ones who created the small boats problem. They are the ones who delivered this record net migration figures that they're all losing their minds over. Reform UK can present various unworkable policies, which they are doing, but if nobody points out how they're unworkable, then their voters will go, yeah, well, that will work, that will work. When you observe what is, after all, the most successful political party in history, the Conservative Party, adopting a strategy with so many holes in it, it should perhaps come as no surprise that their attack ads just aren't working. They don't know who their target voters are, and they don't know what they want. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.